Want to know how to learn a language 2 times faster? Here's a quick hint. It involves reading and listening to your target language at the same time. It's a super easy yet powerful method that anyone can apply to absorb a language. And you can apply this method with the lesson notes inside our learning system. So stick around. Today, you'll discover why listening and reading along is so powerful, what the lesson notes are and how to get them, and 3 ways to learn faster with the lesson notes. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. So let's jump in. I'll guide you through our learning system so you get to see exactly what's inside and our members-only study tools. Okay, so in this lesson, let's take a look at the lesson notes on our website. But first, I want you to imagine that you're listening to native speakers that are having a conversation. Maybe you catch a word or 2 here or there, but the rest kind of goes over your head because they're speaking really fast. There are lots of unknown words and sentence patterns, and this is a really common thing that lots of beginners really struggle with. But what if you could listen to that conversation and follow along at the same time? You're reading the things that they are saying as they're speaking. Makes it really easy to understand everything, right? But this also will help you to retain the information and remember it better because you're listening to it and you're reading it at the same time. So that's what we're going to look at today with the lesson notes. This is a tool that you can have in every single lesson on our website. So let's talk about how to find it and how you can use it. So we're going to start from the dashboard on the website, but there are a few different ways that you can access the lesson notes. So from the dashboard, you can go to any lesson that's in your pathways list here. So for example, I'm going to go to the Go to Lesson button here that is currently in the active pathway. And to access the lesson notes for this current lesson, I'm going to just click on the lesson notes link, which is just below this main dashboard panel here. So when we go to lesson notes, we find some basic information about the lesson. What is the lesson focus, right? In this case, it's about asking about health or general situation of someone, right? So this is a very basic overview. But inside the lesson notes, you will find the dialogue from the lesson. You'll find the things that they said. You'll find some information about it. Why do we say this expression? Why did the person say it that way, right? We also have some examples of other things that we can say in that situation. There are some sample sentences that you can use for reference, pronunciation tips. You'll find culture tips as well. There's key vocabulary, key phrases. Depending on the language you're studying and the level, you might also find some grammar tips. So you'll find a little bit of an outline about how to use that grammar. So there's a lot of information all inside the lesson notes for you to read. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the different ways that you can use these lesson notes. So let's say, for example, you take this lesson today, and then you want to review the lesson tomorrow. You come to the website and you decide you want to review the lesson, but you don't want to just listen to the lesson again, right? What you can do is come to the lesson notes section, for example, and read through the information as you listen to the lesson. So you're reading the dialogue as you listen to the lesson. You read through everything as you listen along. Maybe you choose to speak along with the lesson, or you do some shadowing practice with the lesson. You write down the example sentences that are provided or the sample sentences that are provided. You do some work with the pronunciation tip that is included in the lesson, right? You can copy out the sentences that are written here and use that for writing practice. So there are lots of different things that you can do with the lesson notes that aren't just about like listening and kind of reviewing separately, if you know what I mean. You can put them all together. So you listen to the lesson and then you read the lesson notes at the same time, and then maybe you listen again without the lesson notes. So you can integrate these into your review sessions so that you're not just listening every time, but you're also really thinking about the different ways that you can use the language, speaking and reading and writing, so that you retain the information, you remember it better, and so that you learn faster. Lastly, I want to point out that if you continue scrolling down on this page, you'll also find a lesson transcript if you want to review that also. The last point that I want to make then is this download as PDF button. So you can click this at the bottom of the lesson notes section, or there's another one at the bottom of the lesson transcript section too. If you want to download this and save it for maybe using it on your phone, on your computer, if you want to print it out or something like that. It's up to you. You can do that very easily here. Choose download as PDF to do that. So this is a really quick introduction to all the different ways that you can use the lesson notes to make sure that you're learning quickly and efficiently, and to make your review sessions really kind of interesting and not just listening to exactly the same thing as you listened to the day or the week before. So again, you can find the lesson notes from the lesson notes link at the bottom of every lesson dashboard on the website. And you can review the lesson without retaking the lesson with the lesson notes. You just read through, review the lesson's dialogue, grammar, and vocabulary. It just takes a minute or two. But why do this? Well, one of the best ways to acquire language is through repeated exposure. So you take a lesson and then review the lesson notes after for that repeated exposure. So, if you want to learn the language and get access to these learning tools and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Hindi ebook before it's gone.
Listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
वाह, ताजमहल कितना सुंदर है।
हाँ, बहुत सुंदर है।
हाय, मेरा कैमरा कहाँ है?
क्या?
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
ताज महल,
ताजमहल।
हाय,
Oh no,
बहुत,
very, a lot.
कहाँ,
Where?
सुंदर,
Beautiful, pretty.
वाह,
Wow.
कितना?
How?
कैमरा,
Camera.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
वाह, ताजमहल कितना सुंदर है।
हाँ, बहुत सुंदर है।
हाय, मेरा कैमरा कहाँ है?
क्या?
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Hindi ebook before it's gone.
Listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
क्या तुम कुछ पियोगी?
नहीं, धन्यवाद।
थोड़ी सी चाय पी लो।
नहीं, सच में कुछ नहीं।
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
चाय,
Tea.
कुछ,
Something.
कुछ नहीं।
Nothing.
धन्यवाद, formal thank you,
थोड़ी सी,
A little.
पियोगी,
Will you drink?
सच,
Reality.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
क्या तुम कुछ पियोगी?
नहीं, धन्यवाद।
थोड़ी सी चाय पी लो।
नहीं, सच में कुछ नहीं.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Hindi ebook before it's gone.
Listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
दाल में नमक ठीक है?
हाँ, बिल्कुल ठीक है.
मैंने नमकीन रायता भी बनाया है.
धन्यवाद. भारतीय खाना बहुत स्वादिष्ट होता है.
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
भारतीय
Indian.
बनाया,
To be made.
नमकीन,
Salty.
स्वादिष्ट
To be delicious.
दाल,
Lentils. Pulses.
नमक,
Salt.
ठीक
Okay.
खाना
Food.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
दाल में नमक ठीक है?
हाँ, बिल्कुल ठीक है.
मैंने नमकीन रायता भी बनाया है.
धन्यवाद. भारतीय खाना बहुत स्वादिष्ट होता है.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Hindi ebook before it's gone.
Listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
ये आवाज कहाँ से आ रही है?
शायद कोई गाना गा रहा है.
ये गाना मुझे बहुत पसंद है.
मुझे भी.
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
कहाँ
Where?
बहुत
Very. A lot.
गाना
Song.
शायद,
Maybe.
पसंद
Preference.
भी
Also.
कोई,
Someone.
आवाज,
Sound. Voice.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
ये आवाज कहाँ से आ रही है?
शायद कोई गाना गा रहा है.
ये गाना मुझे बहुत पसंद है.
मुझे भी.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Wait! Before we start, do you want a bundle of 30 printable Hindi PDF cheat sheets? Teaching you words and phrases for conversations for free? Then click the link in the description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get access.
Do you know that there are gestures you probably do all the time, on every occasion, that are considered rude or offensive in other countries? Namaste, मैं हूँ Akansha. Hi everyone, my name is Akansha. In this video, you'll learn about the common Indian gestures and phrases. Understanding body language in gesture is crucial for effective communication. Gestures make up substantial portion of communication, and being able to interpret them can provide valuable insight into a person's thought and feelings. Learning the meaning of gestures in different languages and culture is especially important because gestures vary widely across societies. What may be considered as positive or neutral gesture in one culture can be interpreted differently in another. Cultural awareness is essential to avoid misunderstanding and foster effective cross-cultural communication. In Hindi and Indian culture, specific gestures may hold distinct meanings. For example, the Namaste gestures, where palms are pressed together and a slight bow is made, is a common greeting in India. Understanding such gestures can enhance communication and help build rapport with individuals from Indian cultural background. It is noteworthy that body language is a complex aspect of communication. Factors such as facial expressions, posture, eye contact, and hand movements all contribute to the overall message being conveyed. By learning and being mindful of body language uses, individuals can enhance their communication skills, improve interpersonal relationships, and navigate diverse social settings more effectively. In this video, we'll talk about importance of Indian gestures, understanding Indian culture, common gestures used in Indian society, study Indian gestures and phrases with HindiPod101.com. Also, we will go over Hindi body language tips and more because gestures when speaking in Hindi are of great importance. Let's start with the importance of Indian gestures. Talking about gestures, Indian culture has a very diverse and rich history. Indians are quite emotional and expressive. That's why body language in India comprises of many hand gestures and head nodding during a conversation. The literal Hindi meaning of gesture is how bhav. How bhav. How bhav. Whereas body language meaning in Hindi is sharirik how bhav. Sharirik how bhav. Sharirik how bhav. With different Hindi gestures, people also express their sense of basic emotions such as respect, joy, wonder, sadness, or disappointment. Relying on various gestures in India for emotional expression is so much a part of our culture that we do it all the time without even noticing it. For example, in India, body language is a great way to find out whether someone is really into the conversation or not. The fact may surprise you, but in India, gestures and greetings are mostly followed by a variety of typical Hindi words. Before we talk about how people express themselves through body language in Hindi, let's go over some unwritten rules you should know when hanging out with Indians. First such rule of Indian culture relates to hugging and touching. People in India still value traditional ways, so hugging or touching in public, especially between opposite gender, is not seen as polite. Another unspoken rule is about taking off your shoes. It is seen as good manners if you take off your shoes before entering into someone's house, especially the kitchen area. And don't forget, in places like temples, mosques, or gurudwaras, leave your shoes outside. Mealtime manners is also a thing in India. Believe it or not, it matters how you eat. Use your right hand during meals. Using your left hand is not a good idea. When it's time to eat, stick using your right hand. Another aspect is about choosing clothes. What you wear matters too. In big cities, you might get away with more casual clothing. But in smaller towns, it's better to wear clothes that cover you up a bit. So now that you know these details, let's go into the world of gestures in Hindi. In India, just to reflect the state of mind, the moment you set foot in this country, get ready for lots of kindness and personal attention. Indians really go all out to make their guests feel welcome. Even though Indian gestures and words might seem a bit confusing for someone who is from a completely different place, wouldn't it be awesome to make them happy with just a little bit of preparation from your side? And what's a better way to make them happy than by greeting them in Indian way? Today we will tell you about the positive gestures which are okay to use in public and show your positive involvement and respect. We will also tell you about some funny Indian gestures and what qualifies as rude gestures in India. It is better to avoid some gestures that might offend the other person. Even the native people stay clear of them. So let's decode the most popular gestures practiced by Indians in everyday life. We will start with the positive gestures. These gestures are okay to use in public. These are mainly exchanged for sharing joy, positive vibes, and respect. First such gesture is joining hands for Namaste. The first gesture we are going to learn is how to greet in Hindi. It is the most commonly used gesture in India. It is called Namaste or Namaskar. Namaste. 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 Whenever you meet an elder person or someone of the opposite gender, this is the perfect way to greet them. While saying Namaste, join the palms of your hands in such a way they are placed near your chest, and then slightly bow your head with a gentle smile on your face. Namaste. 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 This same hand gesture is also used by Hindus while praying to God. This gesture is used by all Indians to greet another, irrespective of their religion. But this isn't required when you are meeting someone of your own age. You can use a quick hello for them as well as for kids. Another important gesture is touching the feet of elders. Elderly people who are either close relatives or parents, grandparents of your friends and spouse are usually addressed by touching their feet. It is a symbol of your deep respect toward them. When a simple namaste is not sufficient, touching feet express the gratitude for the older people. This gesture is also used to ask the blessings of elder. When meeting aged folk, stand at a comfortable distance, slowly bend your upper body and touch their feet. While doing so, you should say Pranam, Pranam, Pranam. Touching the feet is the sure shot way to impress the elderly. It melts their hurt right away. The ideal way to touch feet is by using both hands. However, people are not that particular about it nowadays and use just one hand as well. We have learned how to greet elders, how to greet people of same age. Now, how to greet young ones. When a younger person greets you by touching your feet, you have to answer them. And you will answer them by placing your hand on their head lovingly. This placing of palm over the head is considered as giving blessing to the young ones with an intent of passing positive vibes as well as wish you joy. Usually, elderly people also say Jeete Raho to males and Jeeti Raho to females while placing the palm over their head. The phrase means have a long and satisfying life. When a young one touches your feet, respond with this gesture and say Jeete Raho, Jeete Raho, Jeete Raho. In case you are the one who is touching the feet, Wait for a second to allow them enough time so that they can bless you. Another gesture used by Indians, like many other people worldwide, is hugging. It is a gesture practiced as a tender display of affection. People hug the known person of same age group, like friends and cousins who are of same gender as their own, to display affection. The elders shower their love by hugging their kids and grandkids. In India, festivals like Holi and Eid are specially celebrated by hugging each other. There is no need to teach how to hug people, but the hug, to be more specific in Indian gesture, is accompanied with a casual "Kaise ho? Kaise ho? Kaise ho?" You say "Kaise ho" to men and "Kaisi ho" to women. This means "How are you?" There is a quick suggestion here. Don't share a hug with the opposite sex, no matter what the occasion is. It is considered inappropriate in Indian tradition. Another useful gesture is saying "wow" using hand gesture. In Hindi, hand gestures translate to हाथ के इशारे, हाथ के इशारे, हाथ के इशारे. These are used simply by use of hands. The one we are talking here about is a hand gesture which is made by touching the tips of your index finger and thumb so that it forms a circle. Wow! 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 It is accompanied by saying either "wah," which means wow, or "zabardast," which means superb. It is a casual gesture used for complimenting your friends, siblings, or spouse out of affection. This gesture is also used for praising someone. Another on the list is thumbs up, which is also a hand gesture. This is a cool gesture that confirms approval, such as "we are all set." It is also used to wish luck, as if to say it's going to be great. It is commonly used among classmates, often before exam or any competition or before a performance, in order to drive away nervousness. Another gesture which is treated as a very effective non-verbal communication is subtle nodding along. This gesture is used to assure the speaker that you are into the conversation and listening intently. It conveys your warmth and empathy towards the other person. You can slowly nod along when the other person is speaking, maintaining an eye contact to establish trust. Nodding along with an eye contact have a positive impact. You can also say "सही बात है," "सही बात है," "सही बात है," or while nodding. Hmm, hmm. This phrase means "that's right" and shows your interest in the conversation. These gestures are more powerful when they come naturally to you. Indians are emotionally sensitive and their judgment depends a lot on non-verbal communication. If you have a rather cold or stern body language, they might interpret it as a disinterest in the conversation. It is always safe to keep warm facial expressions during Hindi conversation. The next important gesture practiced in India is to join palms sideways to accept sacred offerings, usually known as prasad. 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 With open palms facing upwards, join them sideways. The palm should be gently curved so that offering doesn't fall out of your hands. Along with this, your head should also be tilted slightly. This gesture is used in particular situations only. It is commonly used to accept sacred offerings, usually something sweet, after worshipping in the temple. This gesture is never performed to accept a normal meal except for prasad. Now we will proceed with some negative gestures. Negative gestures are used in extreme conditions. Some of these negative gestures may offend the other person. Even the native Indian people stay clear of them. First in this list is showing the slap gesture. The slap gesture is given with a tilted but straight and open palm. In India, parents often use this gesture to warn their mischievous kids. Adults use this gesture to threaten each other during a serious verbal fight. This gesture is too harsh to be practiced by adults within the family. So, it is more common for it to come up between the strangers. It is better to avoid using it at all cost. Another gesture, not really negative, rather funny, is showing little finger for taking a pee. Though this gesture is not specifically Indian, raising a little finger means you are urgently need to take a leak. Men tend to use this gesture more than women. Kids are most likely to use them with their parents to avoid embarrassment, especially in public places or in front of guests. Though adults also use it in their friend circle. This is not particularly a negative gesture. However, this gesture should not be used in formal situations or in front of female friends. This is not considered very polite. Another important gesture is side to side head shaking with hands for a no. Now, why saying no is a negative gesture here? Indians are not always offended by a no, but when it could be done with a slightly softer tone, this gesture involving hand movement and side to side head nodding is considered to be rude. So, if possible, do not be direct in a disagreeing with or rejecting an offer by using this no gesture. Instead, go for gentler words that indicate your negation in a respectful way. Indians can quickly catch a no when that word has not even been said. No. And last in the negative gesture category is putting your hands on waist, specifically talking to elders. To simply put, this hand on waist gesture is only offensive during an argument with your elders. Otherwise, it's quite a normal gesture. The meaning of the gesture relies a lot on the nature of conversation you're having. For example, when talking to a friend about a pleasant topic, putting your hands on waist indicates a sense of joy or frankness. It shows that you're enjoying the talk. But during an argument, the hand on waist indicates arrogance and unwanted authority over the other. Study Indian gesture and phrases with HindiPod101.com. HindiPod101.com is a great platform to help you understand the rich and varied cultural habits of India, including the Hindi body language tips we went over in this video. Now you can easily gain more command over the Hindi language while learning about different gestures used by Indian and their meanings. For a foreigner, using the gestures may not come as easy as you would think. To understand Indian body language, Hindi knowledge becomes an inevitable prerequisite. Having acquired a command over the simple words and phrases used in Hindi language, things will become less complicated. And for that, HindiPod101.com is here to help you with everything you need, from getting familiar with Hindi alphabets to free tutorials on Hindi grammar. Hope you liked the video and enhanced your learning about Indian culture. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such content. And remember, if you want to be able to have real Hindi conversation with native speakers, just click the link in the description and download our PDF lessons, including all the essential phrases you need in everyday life. Alvida, bye-bye.
Now that you're finished with this lesson, don't forget, as a free bonus, you get over 30 conversation cheat sheets, but only if you sign up via the link in the description. You'll learn how to have flowing conversations and how to answer the most common questions. You can also print out these colorful cheat sheets to keep as physical study material. So don't miss out on this free gift. Click the link in the description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get your PDF cheat sheets. Access your free language gifts right now, before they expire. First, the All the Language You Need for Everyday Life PDF ebook. Get all of our best conversation cheat sheets rolled up into one PDF ebook. Download it right now before it disappears. Second, the Talking About Your Family conversation cheat sheet. Learn all the words you need to know to talk about your family with this one cheat sheet. Third, the Must-Know Words for Hobbies vocab lesson. If you want to talk about your hobbies in your target language, this 1-minute lesson is for you. Fourth, the top 15 phrases for talking about your plans, such as I am free tomorrow, I'm busy, and much more. 5th, going on vacation vocabulary. Learn how to say camping, road trip, summer holiday, and much more with this 1-minute lesson. And 6th, the only app that teaches you the language through conversations between real people. Download innovative language learning for free for the Android, iPhone, and iPad. You'll unlock bite-sized lessons that teach you practical conversations and get you speaking in minutes. To get your gifts and language learning resources, click the link in the description below. Download them right now before they expire. Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is how to ramp up your language progress for the second half of the year. If you've started learning a language at the start of the year, we're now pretty much halfway through the year. Has your language improved since January? And what about these next remaining months? Do you have any plans? If you don't want to feel guilty about being lazy with the language, and if you want to end the year strong instead of restarting next January for the millionth time, then now is the time to do it. Today, you'll learn 1. The best ways to ramp up your language progress without having to study more. 2. 7 tips and learning tools for faster progress. And 3. Much more. But first, if you're looking for new free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the All the Language You Need for Everyday Life PDF ebook. Get all of our best conversation cheat sheets rolled up into one PDF ebook. Download it right now before it disappears. And second, the How to Talk About Your Family conversation cheat sheet. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Now to today's topic. How to ramp up your language progress for the second half of the year. So if you want to ramp up your language progress, what should you do? Well, let's ask the question in a different way. What can you control within your language learning? You can't easily control results because that takes time, right? But you can always control your effort, meaning you can do more and spend more time. And for most learners, spending more time is usually the answer, and that's it. Just put in more time. Lesson over. But if you're not like most learners, if you've been learning a language without much progress, just throwing more time at the problem is not the best answer. Now, it's more about spending that time better, because some methods get you better results than others in the same amount of time. Part 1. The best ways to ramp up your progress. In fact, there's a popular story about a ceramics class you'll hear if you're learning about productivity, where a ceramics teacher split their class into 2 groups, where one group was graded on quality, where they had to create just one perfect pot to get a perfect grade, and the other group was graded on quantity, so they had to make 50 pots to get a perfect grade, and both spent the same amount of time. Can you guess who made the best pots? Was it the group that had to just make one perfect pot, or the group that made 50 in the same amount of time? Well, the group that made 50 pots ended up creating higher quality pots because they learned from the experience, whereas the group that sat around thinking of one best idea didn't get to improve at all. So both groups put in the same amount of time, but one group's results were vastly different. Just goes to show that if you want to ramp up your effort, it's also important to spend that time wisely. If you spend 1 hour cramming for the week, or if you spend 10 minutes a day for 6 days, both adding up to 1 hour for the week, you'll make better progress with 10 minutes a day for 6 days rather than cramming. Cramming doesn't work for hours up front, it just doesn't work. Similarly, if you spend 10 minutes watching YouTube videos on language, or 10 minutes saying 20 specific phrases where you're doing output over and over, you'll be way better off with the 20 phrases. The second lesson from that ceramics class story is this: frequency is much more important than the time put in. The group that got the best results made 50 pots. That's 50 practice attempts. So the amount of times you do something is way more important than how long you do it. Between cramming for an hour once a week and spending 10 minutes a day for 6 days, which is also an hour a week, you'll make better progress with 10 minutes a day for 6 days. With cramming, you only technically learn once, and then you forget. With 10 minutes for 6 days, that was 6 practice sessions where your brain had time to rest, time to process what you've learned, and then had a chance to revisit it the next time around, allowing you to remember things better. So, to recap, if you want to ramp up your language progress, you can put in more time, which is good enough because most learners aren't putting in enough time. You can spend your time wisely with better learning techniques, and you can also increase your frequency of practice and learning. So, what can you do? Part 2. 7 tips and learning tools for faster progress. If you want to ramp up your language progress for the second half of the year and speak more, one way to do it would be to put in more time. If you're only putting in 10 minutes a day, try 20. But putting in more time for the sake of doing it may not always be the best approach. It depends on what you do with that time. So, if you want to ramp up your speaking progress, here's how you ramp up your output. 1. Increase the frequency of your output or practice sessions. And this is the main takeaway from this lesson. However you choose to practice, you'll get better results from practicing several times a day or several times a week instead of once a day or once a week. This is why cramming never works. Here's how. 2. Practice your speaking skills by sending recordings to your Premium Plus teacher. The easiest thing you can do here is to send 3 recordings a day. 1 in the morning, 1 during the day, and 1 at night, detailing what you've done. Like, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I have breakfast, and I go to work. Just send 3 or 4 lines like that, nothing complicated. And they'll review your recordings and respond with corrections. 3. Take our hand-graded assessments to practice and assess your speaking and writing skills. You'll find these in the recommended pathway. And remember, you can always retake them after if you want to improve your score or apply the teacher's feedback. If you're a premium member, you can take our multiple choice assessments instead. 4. Practice shadowing the lesson conversation 3 times in one day. For example, after taking the lesson, shadow it once. If it's in the morning, then do it a second time at noon and a third time in the evening or before you go to bed. The point of spacing it out throughout the day is so that you remember it better instead of doing it once and forgetting it. 5. Practice reading the lesson dialogue out loud. If you can't easily shadow a conversation just yet, then reading is the next best thing. You can read along with the dialogue tool, lesson notes, or lesson transcript. 6. You can also practice writing out the lesson dialogues. Our lesson dialogues are conversations that you can use in real life with native speakers. And by writing it out a few times, you'll remember it better that way. 7. Use the voice recorder to record and compare yourself with native speakers. You'll find the voice recorder inside the dialogue tool in all of our lessons. Just look for the microphone icon next to each line. By the way, all of these suggestions shouldn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes. And all of these shouldn't be done just once a week. Just pick 1 or 2 from this list of suggestions and try them out. The goal here is to increase the frequency of sessions or output throughout the day or week. Remember, even though putting in more time can be a way to ramp up your progress, you still have to apply that time wisely. You could spend 15 minutes practicing speaking or do just 5 minutes 3 times throughout the day, which is also 15 minutes. But you remember things better with the extra repetition. Thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how to maintain your mindset and language learning routine. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye. Great work. Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.